So we found ourselves in Brazil, in Salvador, cruising up the Brazilian coastline on our 39-foot monohull. Salvador was absolutely amazing. The first couple of encounters with the local people were very, very interesting for us because this was a culture that we didn't know at all. So the first encounter, we came across a couple of kids, and they quickly asked Onde. Brazilians are extremely friendly people, and that means where from. So I went Africa do Sur, and they went, no, 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 no preto, no preto. And that means, no, you can't be from South Africa because you're not black. And that was quite astonishing. And from a psychological point of view, it just shows us that the perceptions and beliefs that we grow up with, it is easy to get stuck into those. And even if the truth stares you in the face, you always fall back on those perceptions and beliefs. I was living proof that not everybody that lives in South Africa is black of color, but they just didn't want to know that at all. And then they proceeded to say Alamo, Alamo, which is German. And yeah, that was quite interesting. So I just let that go. Also in Massayo, we stayed out late one night until about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, just like walking around, taking in this huge city. And nobody could speak English in Brazil. Neither could we speak Brasileiro, which turned out to be quite a problem. Now, when we eventually encountered somebody that could speak a bit of English, we he asked us, what were you guys up to? What did you do? And we said, well, one night we were just up there walking until 3 o'clock in the morning. And he said, whoa, that's absolutely crazy. You were in the gang member portion of the city. And it's a wonder that, you were not attacked or anything like that. And we said, yeah, we did see some groups of people, especially young guys walking around, but they just looked at us quite oddly and shook their heads and just walked on. And this one guy said, well, those gang members must have been taken so aback that the two of you walked around there with just a lot of confidence that they probably were wondering that they shouldn't really try anything because they were probably worried what you had up your sleeve. So again, another learning point is if you want to do something crazy like that, just go about it confidently. That should help you. The other odd thing, we then went from Salvador up to a little small town called Masayo. There were two of us on anchor, ourselves and a German couple, which we became good friends with. So one morning on a Saturday morning, we told them we're just quickly going to go into town with a taxi, just so that we can withdraw some money. So off we went, and there was this little street pub. People were sitting in the street just having a beer, and we felt like having something, so we also sat down, and another guy stood up from his table, about 3 or 4 tables away from us, and came to sit like next to us, and he just started talking. All that I heard was the onde and blah blah, and then I said Afrika Zur, man, and then just this guy just went on. Nelson Mandela, Nelson Mandela, Mandela, Mandela. And I just shook my head, and yes, that's South Africa, that's our president, that's what we are from, and all of that. And I couldn't understand a word of what was going on. And this guy just went crazy, and he said, he showed us, he got up and, well, he first got a couple of beers and said we must drink up, and which we did. And I wanted to pay, and he shook his head furiously, and he said, no, 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 no dinero, don't no dinero. And we he asked us to follow him. he went into a barber shop and he had a haircut, and he was telling this barber again and showing to us and Nelson Mandela, and then he said we must come along, and we got into a car and found ourselves in this guy's house. He proceeded to show me a lot of cash, like bundles of cash. And some of it he just tore up and animatedly spoke, and I had no idea what was going on. He also showed to a woman and then showed to me, and then, did that. And, I thought, I don't know what's going on with this oak. And then I started talking the couple of words that I knew, like barku, that's boat. And I tried to show this guy we need to get back to our boat, because we knew that our German friends would be worried by then. But no, he didn't want to hear anything at all. So this woman shoved me into a shower, sort of, and showed me to just shower myself, which I did. And then we were off again into town, and we started walking, and there were heaps of people around. And then later I saw in a pub that Brazil was playing international soccer. So that explained that. And everywhere we go, this guy was just Afrika du Sur, Nelson Mandela, Afrika du Sur. It was as if though we were paraded. It was actually quite funny. So they eventually said it was 11, 12 o'clock at night, and I just tried to tell this guy, we need to go home, man. And he didn't want to hear anything of it at all. So we ended up spending the night. And then the next morning, he told a person, which I then found out was his chauffeur, to just take us back to the boat. Now, that was our kidnapping in Brazil. Looking back, although it's quite funny, and one should actually be pleased that people does show such a interest in you if you from a different country. But, just like doing the kidnapping thing without the ability to communicate, for us wasn't that great, because we were quite worried. But I suppose that's Brazilian hospitality. From Maceió, we went up the Brazilian coastline into a river called Jacaré, the river of the crocodile. And there was this procession where a lot of town folk would dress themselves up. There'll be trucks with bands on top of that. It was like Mardi Gras. It was pretty, pretty cool. We then went on to Fortaleza. Now, Fortaleza in the north of Brazil, the harbor is right next to a 5-star resort. And we were quite taken aback to see that outside there were international flags that were flying. And we saw the South African flag. And that was quite heartwarming to know that, we were in good standing with Brazil at that point in time. And we still are. The Brazilian culture was pretty awesome. We told ourselves when we left South Africa, we said that, at each and every place that we get to, we will try and get local people aboard so that they can make their local food for us, and we'll be quite happy to pay. So this meal in Maceió, we had this wonderful family aboard. He brought his wife, his kids, and his grandkids. There were probably 14 of them on our small little yacht, but we managed. And he showed me, do I want anything to drink? And I said, yeah, sure. I said, yeah, no problem. Man, and I saw he was pouring out of this bottle which didn't have a label. And then later on, we found out that that was locally made cane. And in that, he threw in some white stuff, and I had no idea what that was. But when I tasted that, I tasted it was condensed milk. So over there, you drink cane with condensed milk. And I must say, it was utterly nice. I thoroughly enjoyed that. And it's just the amount of cane is like a double. So that went off quite well before the beans and the feijão and the pasta, which is the traditional dishes in Brazil. So the food was actually amazing. It was quite nice. Also in Salvador, we had the wonderful experience of a band member, a guy that had a one-man band. He invited us to Ilha de Mare, which is a small island just off Salvador. And we were ferried over there with the ferry, and we enjoyed that island a lot. We had a lot of walks that evening on the island, and it was just pretty amazing. It was really being on holiday. And cruising Brazil was another highlight of us cruising from South Africa to the Caribbean.